Hi guys, Keith Best here, and in this video I'm just going to go over the actual Magic Page plugin settings screen. So once you've actually put your API key in, you'll come to this page here, and all you do is you click on Continue to Settings. Now this is where your API key would show up. Obviously I've got mine hidden so that you can't actually view it. And if you are going to be using or giving your site to a third party to build out for you, then basically what you need to do is make sure that this is hidden. And what you do is you basically sign in as yourself. You then put your API key in as we showed you in the last video, and then you click on here which will say hidden, and that will then hide your Magic Page API key. You then set up another user for the other person to use. That way then they will not be able to see your API key, as the API key will only be shown for this user that has hidden it. So that's how you hide your API key. So the redirect URL, this is basically for any links going to your Magic Pages which come up with a 404. If they do that, they will be redirected to whatever you put in there, which is normally going to be your home page. You might decide you want to go to some other page, but 9 times out of 10 it's going to be your home page. Default radius, as it says, this is the default radius for when you select a location. That will be the radius from that location that you will target. When you first set up Magic Page, it will be a radius of 1,000 miles. You can set it down to whatever you want as your default. And within the settings of Magic Page itself, when you're going in there and you pick in your location, you can adjust this again in there. This is just the default radius just to start you off. The URL structure, then this can be anything you want in there, and basically as it shows, this is what goes after your domain name. So it'll be, in this instance, it will be nrcoaters.com/nearme/location. Okay, now if you're putting things in like sort of near me where you have a gap in between them, then you need to put a hyphen in. Okay, you can't put in near me, as that will not work. You need to have a hyphen in there. Or, like I say, you can just put services or whatever like that, or locations, whichever one you want to do it. I sometimes use near me, I sometimes use locations, I just mix it up. Google Maps API key. Now, if you want to have a Google Maps shown on your site, then basically this is where you will put your Google Maps API key. You need to follow the instructions. Basically, you click on the link, it opens up in there, and you go through, you could get your credentials and create a Google Maps API key. We have other training on creating this Google Maps API key. The best advice I can give is just basically install all of the Google Maps APIs. It just makes life easy because Google's constantly changing it, and sometimes it'll work and sometimes it won't. And you will need to have billing associated with the project, which is one reason why I tend not to use them, because it's all right using the Google Maps API key on one site, but when you got 50, 60, 100 plus sites, then it becomes expensive because you start getting charged for using the Google Maps API key. We provide you with other ways of displaying maps which are local relevant anyway, so you don't really need the Google Maps API key. SEO settings for regular posts and pages. Now, if you turn this off, then basically all regular posts and pages, you will need to use another SEO tool plugin to do the SEO side of it. And a lot of the SEO plugins you can't use like the shortcodes in and things like that. So it is best to leave that turned on. But obviously, if you've got a favorite plugin, then you can turn it off. Cron service support. This one you don't really need. It's an old one which is just in there. We don't really use it. It's just basic. It's only if you're having problems with your auto refresh and with the building of the actual pages. But I would just leave it on basic and it will just use your WordPress cron to do everything. When you first come in, this spin tag support will be set as disabled. What you can either have it disabled fully, disabled for regular post types, or enabled. When it's on disabled for regular post types, then basically what that means is that your regular posts and pages will not be able to use spin tags. Okay, your magic page can use spin tags, but none of the other pages on your site can. When it's enabled, then that basically means that all pages on your site, whether they are magic pages, static pages, or posts, will be able to use spin tags, and Magic Page plugin will handle that for you. This button here deletes the spin tags cache. When you're doing any changes, sometimes, especially on your magic page and things like that, you might go to view it, the changes what you've done, and they might not show up. And that'll be because that page is actually being cached. So therefore it's showing you an old version. So the way to get around that is just press the spin tags cache and just then do yep, and it will delete them. Simple as that. Spin tags auto rewrite for regular posts. When you turn on the spin tag support up here, then you'll get this one come up and that'll be enabled. You can turn it off if you want, or you can have it on. And what this does, if you have it enabled, it basically will auto rewrite your posts and pages on an interval which you set in this section down below. So what that does, it refreshes your pages up on a specified interval. So this is the options for it. You've got like sort of 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 2 months, 3 months. So you can choose any of them. As simply as just like sort of clicking on them. And then your page coverage, you got up to 100%. So you could go for 20%. And then the post amount, again, you've got up to, so you could say 50. So what you want is 50% of your posts, 20% of the coverage is actually getting rewritten every 2 weeks. So that's what's going to happen when you set them. But as again, you can put them to whatever you want, any combination of whatever you want. I tend to just leave it at that. Elementor plugin fix. This is basically due to a change that was made within Elementor, which messed with the square braces when you put them into some of the containers. If you are not using Elementor, then you can actually disable this one. However, if you are using Elementor, then you do need to have it enabled. Otherwise, you will find that some of your links and things like that, if you're using short codes like the X fields in some of the Elementor containers, then they are not going to work. Once you've come down and got these set the way you want them, then all you do is click on Save Settings. And your settings are being successfully updated, as it says at the top. Over on this right-hand side, these are further options what you can do, and I will be covering all of these in different videos. So it's like the Magic Page databases. So this will take you into the databases so that you can install the database. Obviously, check for updates is, as it says, you can just click on that and it will check to see if there's any updates for the database. Footprint Minifire. This just basically hides your footprint from Google, your Magic Page footprint. And I'll be covering that in a different video. Import and export. Again, this is like sort of allows you to import or export the database and also import and export the Magic Page, X fields and shortcodes. Compatibility mode. This is because some hosts will actually recognize the code what we use to hide the code so people can't actually steal our ideas. they'll recognize that as it is a virus or things like that. So sometimes will block it. If you have that issue, then all you've got to do is turn this on. And what will happen is, instead of using the code on your own server, you will be linked to the code on our servers. And that way you've got no problems with the compatibility. Okay, so that was just a quick run through of the Magic Page settings page. Hope it was useful. Catch you on the next video. Bye.